Have you ever felt the overwhelming urge to explain yourself after a breakup? Maybe you wanted to clarify what went wrong, plead your case, or simply seek closure. It's a natural response. When something ends abruptly, our minds crave understanding. We want to fill the silence with words, with explanations, with anything that makes sense of the chaos. But here's the truth. Silence is often the most powerful response you can give. Think about it. What do words really achieve in the aftermath of a breakup? More often than not, they lead to emotional back and forth, unnecessary arguments, and even more heartache. You might think that talking things out will bring clarity, but in reality, it often does the opposite. It keeps you stuck in the past, reliving what's already over. That's why choosing silence isn't about avoidance. It's about power. When you stay silent, you do more than just hold back words. You send a clear message. You demonstrate that you don't need validation, that your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's approval, and that you are strong enough to walk away with dignity. Silence forces both you and the other person to sit with your emotions rather than drowning them in endless conversations. It shifts the dynamic in your favor, making them wonder about you instead of assuming you're still waiting for them. Welcome back to Mindful Stoicism, where we empower you to master your emotions and thrive in moments of adversity. If you're ready to take control of your narrative and harness the power of silence, stay tuned. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more insights on Stoic wisdom, personal growth, and emotional mastery. 1. The immediate impact of silence. Silence after a breakup is a powerful tool, yet it's often underestimated. In a world where people are conditioned to react immediately, to explain, to argue, to plead, choosing silence stands out. It disrupts expectations, shifts the emotional balance, and forces both you and the other person to confront reality without the noise of unnecessary words. The first and most profound impact of silence is the space it creates. When a relationship ends, emotions run high: anger, sadness, confusion, and even regret. Many people make the mistake of acting on these emotions in the heat of the moment, sending long messages, making desperate phone calls, or trying to force a conversation that won't change the outcome. But when you stay silent, you give yourself the breathing room to process what has happened without making impulsive decisions. You allow yourself time to think rather than just react. For the person on the receiving end, your silence is just as powerful. People expect a reaction, whether it's sadness, anger, or a desperate attempt at reconciliation. When you withhold that reaction, you create an unsettling void. They begin to wonder, why aren't they reaching out? Are they really okay without me? This curiosity can make them reflect on the breakup in ways they wouldn't have if you had immediately responded with emotion. Moreover, silence communicates strength. It tells the other person that you are not desperate for their validation, that you respect yourself enough to walk away without begging for attention. It sends a message that you are in control of your emotions, even if deep down you are still processing the pain. This kind of composure is rare, and it commands respect. From a psychological perspective, silence also forces the other person to sit with their own emotions. Without your words filling the gaps, they have no choice but to confront the reality of the breakup on their own terms. This can be far more impactful than any speech you could give them, Ultimately, the immediate impact of silence is that it shifts the power dynamic. Instead of being the one chasing, explaining, or justifying, you become the one who steps back, observes, and regains control. It's a strategic and emotionally intelligent move, one that sets the foundation for healing, growth, and ultimately moving forward on your own terms. 2. Why silence feels uncomfortable but necessary. Let's be honest, staying silent after a breakup is hard. It feels unnatural, even painful. Your mind races with questions. What if they think I don't care? What if they move on? What if they never reach out? The silence can feel like an unbearable void, making you want to break it just to feel some sense of connection again. But here's the reality. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that silence is wrong. It's a sign that it's working. The need to reach out, to explain, or to seek closure comes from a place of emotional dependence. It's a way for your mind to resist change, to hold on to the past. But resisting silence only prolongs your suffering. When you choose to stay silent, you are forcing yourself to confront your emotions head-on. And that's exactly why it feels uncomfortable. There's no distraction, no immediate validation, just you, your thoughts, and the raw truth of the situation. But this is necessary. Growth only happens in discomfort. In Stoicism, there's a powerful idea. We must be willing to endure short-term pain for long-term strength. Think of it like training a muscle. When you first start working out, your body resists. It wants to quit, to go back to comfort. But if you push through, your body adapts, grows stronger, and becomes more resilient. The same applies to your emotional strength. The first few days, even weeks of silence may feel unbearable, but over time, you will realize that you are regaining control over yourself. Silence also forces the other person to reflect. If you constantly reach out, they never have the chance to miss you, to wonder what's on your mind, or to question their own decisions. But when you stay silent, they are left to sit with their own emotions, just as you are sitting with yours. And in many cases, that silence becomes louder than any words you could have spoken. So, yes, silence is uncomfortable, but it is necessary for healing, for regaining your sense of self, and for showing both yourself and others that you are not dependent on anyone for your emotional stability. True strength isn't found in reacting, it's found in self-control, and silence is one of the greatest displays of self-mastery. How silence shifts the power dynamic. One of the most profound effects of staying silent after a breakup is how it shifts the power dynamic between you and your ex. Breakups are emotionally charged events, and most people react in predictable ways. They argue, plead, or repeatedly try to reach out. This behavior, while natural, gives away power. It shows the other person that they still have emotional control over you, that you're waiting for their validation or response. But when you choose silence, you break the cycle and flip the script entirely. Silence is unexpected. It disrupts their expectations and introduces uncertainty. The other person likely anticipates that you'll react emotionally. They expect calls, texts, or attempts to reconnect. When none of that happens, it creates a sense of mystery. They begin to wonder, why aren't you reaching out? Are you already moving on? Are you happier without them? This curiosity can be incredibly powerful. Instead of you seeking their attention, they start focusing on you. They begin to question whether they underestimated your strength and resilience. In this way, silence reclaims your power. By staying quiet, you demonstrate that you are in control of your emotions. You're not dependent on their responses, nor are you stuck in the emotional tug-of-war that breakups often create. As a result, you elevate yourself in their eyes, not because you're trying to manipulate them, but because you've chosen self-respect over desperation. This shift in power doesn't just impact them, it also transforms you. Choosing silence reinforces your own emotional strength and discipline. It allows you to step back, focus on yourself, and begin the healing process without being distracted by unnecessary drama. It's a form of self-care and a way to rebuild your confidence. In Stoic philosophy, there's a concept of controlling what's within your power and letting go of what isn't. Your silence embodies this principle. It shows that you're not trying to control the other person or the outcome of the relationship. Instead, you're focused on controlling your response and your own narrative. This shift in mindset is incredibly empowering. It's a way to regain not only emotional balance, but also personal freedom. Ultimately, silence after a breakup isn't about playing games or manipulating someone else. It's about reclaiming your peace, maintaining your dignity, and showing that your self-worth doesn't depend on anyone else. Silence, when used wisely, becomes your greatest ally, or the healing power of silence. Silence is more than the absence of words. It's a sanctuary for your mind and soul, a space where true healing begins. After a breakup, it's tempting to fill the void with noise, whether that's reaching out to your ex, venting to friends, or distracting yourself with external activities. But in the midst of that noise, it's easy to overlook the most important relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. Silence is your invitation to reconnect with your inner world and embrace the healing process. When you choose silence, you create the space needed to process your emotions fully. Often, the pain of a breakup isn't just about losing the other person. It's about the loss of identity, routine, and expectations for the future. These emotions can feel overwhelming, but silence gives you the clarity to sit with them, observe them, and eventually release them. Instead of suppressing your feelings or seeking validation from others, silence allows you to confront what's inside, heal at your own pace, and rebuild your strength from within. Moreover, silence allows you to regain control over your thoughts. In the immediate aftermath of a breakup, it's easy to spiral into overthinking, replaying conversations, imagining what-if scenarios, and seeking answers that may never come. But when you embrace silence, you stop feeding those mental loops. You begin to focus on the present moment, rather than being consumed by the past or worrying about the future. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Silence empowers you to respond to your pain with grace and resilience. Silence also opens the door to self-discovery. Use this quiet period to reflect on who you are outside of the relationship. What are your passions, dreams, and values? What lessons can you learn from the breakup? By turning inward, you gain the opportunity to grow and transform in ways that wouldn't be possible if you were still focused on external noise. So, if you're going through a breakup, remember this. Your silence is your strength. It's your way of reclaiming your power, respecting yourself, and rising above the chaos. If this message resonates with you, like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Mindful Stoicism for more wisdom to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Stay strong, stay silent, and stay mindful. See you in the next video.